Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Today is episode 175. We are doing the daily color in small victories. I am using the Castle Arts 48 Pastel Tints. Here is the color range, and I have a big challenge ahead of me for this week. This week, we are coloring these teeny tiny images in a circular shape. I am upside down to be able to access the first image. This will be the Pastel Tints. Notice it has a very dark, heavier stroke line than any of these other images. So that is going to be my challenge today. I think I'm going to color sitting up because it is so delicate. That way I can use my craft glasses and I can get my nose in really close. So I will be zooming you guys in. And hopefully it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because the camera is pretty close. So now the very first thing I want to do to try to tackle this and make it more manageable. First I'm going to make sure I'm focused. So that is focused. Next, I have the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. I am going to put some on a block. I actually already did a little bit of a mock-up, but it's a completely different material than my copy paper. So who knows what we're going to get. I have zero experience with this. I have this brush I've already used to water down the ink. It is so thick that it would make if it was the full strength, I think it would be hard to color, and it would also make it so I couldn't see the images. I am just wanting to tone down the white. So let's just see how this goes. My brush is not all that wet. I don't want to cause a ripple effect if I can avoid it. I also want to have some tooth. I have encountered problems with the Winsor & Newton where I go in too dark in certain areas and then I end up, it's like it's a slick surface. The tooth is all filled in and I can no longer color nicely. It makes it very challenging, though I thank you guys. I did get some tips on how I can overcome that. So I do have some thoughts should this particular project end up doing the same thing. I am almost out of what I've got, and so I'm going to have to activate a little bit more of it. So I should probably show you. I've got it so zoomed in you can't see what I'm doing even if I did have this. So basically I am just using, sorry I hit this, using the ink that is here already watered down and trying to stretch it. Trying to keep it pretty even. All right, so this is going to dry. I'm going to go find my sharpener. I don't know really where it has gone off to because I am going to need some very pointy pencils. So I'm going to pause. We're going to let that dry. I actually see one spot that is not. Okay, there we go. That looks good. Go rinse my brush, find my sharpener, and I will get to it. Hey, I am back. I am looking at the color palette. And since this is basically a field of little flowers but no leaves, I'm going to pick the darkest to get my shadows. So for my darks, I have pulled 040 Hydrangea, Viridi 28. I might have to make sure I have that one. Yep. And then the Larkspur. Where's Larkspur? Right here's Larkspur. Camellia. And for a orange, I picked Coral Blush. I have a couple of yellows for the centers. And then I have a lighter version of each to go with the darks that I mentioned. So as I pick them up, I will share with you which one are the lights that I have to go with them. The darkest for the background that I have is a gray, and I may shift to a green, but this is my darkest gray called Winterberry, and I am going to give it a whirl. I am tempted to go in between all the flowers with some dark color, but I have not decided if I want to do that yet. I'm going to first see what it looks like without having a background. So let's zoom in close. And again, I am sitting up tall at my desk, and I'm going to see how this goes. I'm going to pick up the first set. I will show you one time what the darks and lights are for each of the colors that I'm going to play with, and then they will also be in the description. Oops, sorry. Here we are. Hydrangea is the dark and Heather is the light. So I am going to randomly mark right around the floral center. I'm going in circles, as you can see. So far, I am not feeling any resistance to adding color on top of the Dr. P.H. Martens. I'm not sure what that little black chunk... Oh, it is a crumb from this very sharpened pencil. Okay, so I'll be switching back and forth. Now that I see how that works, I do want to soften the edges. I'm seeing an edge line that I would prefer not to be such a sharp edge. So switching to my light. And let's just do something over here on this side. This is just going to be a little exercise in a lot of delicate coloring, I can tell. So I do not anticipate being able to do more than one per day. But the other images have a lot less detail. A couple of them. There's a tulip at the bottom, and then there's a leafy, actually that's fish. That one will probably be able to be done quickly. So maybe I can group those two together. My mom is in Washington State still. She is moving here, but getting ready to sell her home this month. And she had a really cold June, and unseasonably cold. I'm switching to the greens. The dark is Viridi, and the light is Delphinium. So she had a very unseasonably cold June, and now she just sent me the weather for this week. where today and tomorrow are in the 90s, and then high 80s. What's interesting about Washington State on the Puget Sound side is it can get super hot. I went to Moab on vacation one year, and at the time I had a horse still. So I sent him off or hauled him to a friend's house for his little vacation away from the boarding place that he normally lived at. And it was 102 in Moab. Then we get home, and it was 107 at home. And I went and picked the horse up in the heat. And when it's that hot there, it's not a humid heat, but it's so stifling. You just don't feel like there's any place to go. It's just so hot. So in the evenings, I would go down to the barn, after work, and basically hose him off in the Lukish warm, try to make it as cool as possible water. Because in the barns, there were 3 different barns. They would be so stuffy in there, even though they all had, their outdoor windows, and the ends they were wide open, but it still is so hot. All right, so I have this larkspur, and I did not grab a light, so I just picked one to go with larkspur. I've picked blue poppy, and I'm not picking a third color. I'm just going dark and light because these are a light set of pencils, and I don't think there's enough space here to warrant a third color, like a mid-tone, because really the dark color to me is the mid-tone. I think of this as sort of what I call whack-a-mole, where I'm just trying to strategically be as random as I possibly can while not actually being random. That is like an art in and of itself. I am always working on that skill. Now, I don't have to just do the fluffy flowers. Over here, I could just decide that this 4-petal flower is going to be blue, because I will have to incorporate all of the different flowers. And then we have flowers behind other flowers. Over here, so there's really 3 kinds of flowers. There's the fluffy circle flowers, 4-petal flowers. Here's like an 8-petal flower, a couple of them. And then these ones with the kind of rippled leaves or petals look to me like my hydrangea petals. So I might actually try to hydrangeaize them. We'll see if I can get that done. I'm going to start picking some in-between flowers. This one has a few more petals. Now let's try. We've got pink and coral to play with. So here is Camellia with the light pink foxglove. I haven't been telling you these numbers, 11 and 44. And I actually just put the numbers and no names in the description. This actually is working way better than the then the copy paper inked up version was working. There's a little more tooth. Very warm here in the craft room. I don't know if I've mentioned this. Normally I'm not down here. If I'm in my recliner or my little zero grab chair. My craft room does not have AC running to it. And so it gets, in the late afternoon, it is not quite late afternoon. It's early afternoon. But it is still 77.7 down here. So, quite toasty. I am definitely getting used to being warm. When I first moved here, it would just have been way too warm for me. Well, looks like this one would like some friends. So I think we're gonna have mid-90s. Oh, and here in Florida, though it is hot and humid, it never, I don't think it's ever been in the hundreds here. I think we've had a 99 since we've been here but in Titusville, it does not get that scorching hot. But it is humid. Okay, we are ready for coral. And I have 08 Coral Blush and 07 Petunia Pink. All right, so that is a good smattering of colors. I do want to sharpen a couple more purple violet. I want to try my hand at a hydrangea. This right here looks like a hydrangea leaf to me. So I've pulled, to go with Larkspur, Tickle Pink 43. And actually, this little grouping here I'm going to make be my hydrangeas. I do have the light heather 41, to go with the dark purple. See how I'm adding these shadows between each of the petals. Yep, I like it. Now what's interesting is the color of the centers of these. I like the really light yellowish green. So let's find that. Let's see if this one will work. I have grabbed, it's so faint I can't read it. I think it says Jasmine 26. Let's look at the card. 26 is, it is Jasmine. So that's a yellow. And let's sharpen it. Little sharpener. Sharper, sharper. That's better. All right. Hydrangea is done. Do I have any other place that I can do another cluster and make it look hydrangea-esque? Let's go. None of these are looking quite like that one grouping. But I think I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 right here. Okay, let's get our dark. I like this purple. These are a nice feeling pencil. That's a blue. They are soft. You saw the crumbling of that one, but I haven't had another one do that crumbling business. All right, let's keep these straight here. All right, now back to the dark purple. I want to get right in here. And then I want to pop in a jasmine center for these three. I would not mind coming over here. I'm looking for, I see 3, 4 petals. Actually, I see 4. I could even do 5 if I wanted to go crazy, but I don't think I need to go too crazy. We'll just do these 3. So that was the violet, or tickle pink. Dark purple, which is my hydrangea. I'm gonna grab that. Oh, we're gonna do the light. Heather. Now what's interesting is I see a little dot there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that that is also a hydrangea, but in the back. Like so. And that's coming cute. I've got 3 clusters here going. And that's actually a 4th. Okay. Now, this particular purple, doing some darkening, I am going to grab saffron number 3, which is a yellow. Get some of these centers in. All right. I want to go back to some pinks. I've got my dark Camellia 44, and the light is Foxglove 11. And if I went too far, that right there. And I am going to we've got some nice pinks scattered all around. I have not done any yellow. So this is the saffron number 3. And I'm not even sure if I need a softer. I will have one ready. This one is Magnolia number 4. But I am going to come in here . push too hard. These are still a pretty hard pencil they're doing really well with the pressure I'm putting on them. Let's go way over here. I think for fun, I am going to take these 3 small round flowers and we're going to make them, all 3 of them, yellow. Haven't done any yellow over here, so let's grab So the yellows, I think I'm going to use an orange in the center. So I'm just grabbing the middle Petunia Pink 007. I might even do a couple of these you can't really see. All right, I have done a few greens, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna do a little bit more. We've got Viridi 28 and Delphinium 33. And I see a cluster of 3 that I'm gonna do right here. I'm bringing in the fluorescent yellow-green, a Jasmine 26. Okay. Going with some blue, I've got Larkspur 39, Blue Poppy 34, and let's bring in some blues. So I'm doing a little group of 3 here. It's like I'm making miniature doll bouquets or something. So teeny tiny. Okay, so there's 3. Looking very cute. Okay, now I'm going to find another grouping. This actually looks like it was a blue, so I am going to extend it to include these. That's a multi-petal. This one's got only 4 petals, and so does this one. But here's what I'm going to do. It's kind of like there might be some coming from behind. And then I'll even have this 4th one. Okay, very nice. Now I see some random, like there's a little petal or something, and then there's 2 petals. And I am going to just grab orange and pretend that these are just, you know, little petals peeking through. Petals. And then I'm going to do, this one gets to be yellow. This is number 3 saffron. And then I want to darken right here. Okay. And then these flowers, the blue ones, will have some yellow. I have a need for a little bit of pink here and here. And that is the dark Camellia 44. Coming in with the light Foxglove 11. Nice. Pink, 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 pink. I'm thinking a little bit of, there's only one of this green. And Viridi, 28. Delphinium 33. Oh, what am I doing for time? 39. Let's see what we can get done in the next 5 minutes. Okay. I am seeing a need for a little bit of blue. So Larkspur 39, Blue Poppy 34. I'm just going to do one blue right here. Do a little bit of blue over on this side. And I think I'm going to darken so I'm thinking of not using the gray because you'll see I'm just picking areas to hint that there are more of these different colored flowers behind. So that is what I am going with. I think the key to this is very sharp pencils. I'm going to make a couple of these centers orange. I haven't done any orange centers yet. And I'm going to grab for the, I think I already did these green. Oh, maybe not. That's what I need, a little bit pops of color. And there is that little shadowed area. And this single solo petal is going to be green. I like that. Little pops of color here and there. Oh, we can do this coral. I'm speeding up if you've noticed. I'm thinking it would be nice to get almost finished if I can. Dark purple, now the light purple. Yeah, so that's coming along. Dark pink, light pink. A bit of light pink, a little bit of dark pink. I'm gonna throw some deep violet behind here. Yes. Some dark blue. Yeah, I like it better with the little pops of color over the idea of that gray that I showed you. Okay, so don't forget, it is totally okay to have a white flower. We do not have to have every single flower colored in. This is actually turning out way better than I expected. So I'm having fun with the negative space behind the flowers. Okay, gonna switch. I'm actually gonna mix some colors in. Nice. Switching to purple. Actually, this is the Violet Tickle Pink. I want the purple purple. We'll do some purple right here. I think this is coming along very nicely. One of the design tricks learned in various art classes is lights advance, darks recede. So always try to darken up your shadows. It will help your foreground colors, which should be lighter, pop. So I do not have any flowers this funny green yellow color, so I'm just gonna try some. And we have 3 random petals there. I'm going to just make them green. And there's the light delphinium. Soften those up. You can even, at this point with our coloring, I am going ahead. I've got, I think, enough colors, so I will be doing some softer flowers. Look at that big. I'm going to make that. That's big enough to have a dark. And then that's the Coral Blush 08. Petunia Pink, which is really very orange. And I think that that might be left light. And then these flowers are going to be light. A couple of them. Now I have filled in enough that I am just kind of going around. There's my white flower. Purposefully leaving it white. I think this will be a yellow. Get some centers. Look at that. This is going to be white. Or yellow, sorry. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Those 3 are yellow with the bright orange centers. Nice. I want blue. Get me light. Now, okay, look. I have that many pencils in my hand. That's what happens when you get on a roll. You don't want to put them down. How are we doing for time? I'm at 50 minutes. So I am going to say that I've definitely given you the idea of how you can tackle this. I've got lots of colors. I've got lots of the darks behind. I'm just going to continue to get some lights going. Here's a white flower, that flower. So remember to leave a few whites here and there, scattered throughout. And then come in and darken your backgrounds. These little random leaves, you can go ahead and let them be random leaves. And I've basically 3/4 of the way done. A couple of flowers along the end here. So do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. Thank you for joining me today coloring, and welcome back if you are returning. Tomorrow is Tuesday, so I had mentioned that I was going to be mixing in the big a couple times a week. and potentially it would be Tuesday, Thursday. So tomorrow I will color a big episode, and we're working on the fireplace library with the two kitties. I'll see you then.